I'm Professor Steve Burgess, and so I'm the chief instructor in Petawawa. So that's the military base. That's why I always talk a lot about military stuff. So I've been running the club there now for the last 6 years. So again, what you've seen today in that, you already trained with Professor Gilmat, right? Okay, so all the folks here knows that have like trained with me before know that Professor Gilmat we are like polar opposites when it comes to Jiu Jitsu. He's what I always call a fast flow game, and I'm a tight heavy game. So my background is with the Carlson Gracie team under Messer Marcus Suarez. So that's why I have that very kind of old school tight game, and we don't emphasize a lot of the big open games, just because they don't lend themselves very well to Vale Tudo or to mixed martial arts and that, because you're giving up positions to do it. And when you don't have cloth you can grab onto, you can't be playing a lot of certain games because they're designed only for a gi. And if you start opening up and letting people, have space and room to move, you're gonna, once you start getting punched in the face, you'll change your game completely. And that's the big issue here. So you'll see a lot of that stuff there is why a lot different. Like when I fight no gi or gi, I fight exactly the same. I feel exactly the same. I do nothing in a gi that I don't do no gi. So that's why you have to be very careful about having different games because they train bad habits, right? And then, once you're open and you start taking shots really hard, you'll forget all that fancy stuff you're trying to do. It just won't work because you don't even know where you're at, okay? So you got to stay covered up, and you're using frames and things like that, and to create and that space and control manage. So what we're going to talk about today is going to be the closed guard. So I usually always take the camps as an opportunity to do closed guard because almost no one works it anymore. And anyone that's rolled with me, if you're in my closed guard and I decide that you're not going, I don't want to play anything else, you're not leaving my closed guard. So very few people can pressure me into opening. And it's only because I came up under that style. And a lot of the jiu-jitsu today, what they do is people just immediately open their legs. And they don't, as Marcus always says, is that, how do you pass a closed guard? You don't, it's closed. So why are you opening up? It's like unlocking a door and letting someone walk through it. Well, you're doing all the work for them, right? But that's 2 steps into a guard pass. So why did you just jump to 2? You just literally gave them the first couple of steps to go. So it makes no sense from a tactical perspective to actually do that, unless you're so arrogant that in your other game that you're just going to now give them the spot. Because when you start opening and letting people pass and things like that, or opening up so that they start losing control, you're giving them the ability to pass. And once they pass, if striking is allowed, you're in a lot of trouble. So you can't don't think what you're fighting for points and position stuff. That means nothing to me, okay? So that's just the kind of the philosophy of the kind of the closed guard game. But it's kind of gone away over the last couple of decades. And so I always kind of bring that back and make sure that, when you're training these positions, these basic fundamental positions, as Marcus likes to always say, is that be a black belt everywhere, not just one place. Be a black belt in just 1 or 2 areas. Be a black belt in every position, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the closed guard and concepts of how we attack from there. So I'm not going to keep it into like sweeps and just defending, but actual attacks, all right, from the closed guard. All right, so a little bit different. So the first thing is we talk about how do you actually pass guard. So if somebody's in a closed guard, obviously what they're going to do is try to pass your closed guard. All right. So the very first thing that happens in a guard pass, and we're going to stop at number 2. So the 4 steps really are at the end of the day. The first step is to win the grip fight. So you have to win the grip fight because, like we say in judo, whoever gets the grip first gets the throw. So you have to win the grip fight. That's critical. And you'll see people yelling posture up, posture up. Not ever posture if you do not win the grip fight. If you try to posture on someone that's got strong, powerful grips, you're being swept or submitted. So you have to be very careful. You cannot mix those up, all right? You always win the grip fight first. And winning the grip fight means either breaking it or making their grip useless. That's always the key. There's the only 2 things you can do in a grip fight. So break it or make it useless. The second thing is then to posture. Because once you start posturing, you're backing out of the guard. You never move into a guard, right? That's just silly. You never move into a guard. You always back out of a guard. So what you're going to do now, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to pressure those ankles apart. And then you're going to, looking to, as you move back, you're controlling legs and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's a method every time. In my mind, I just literally go through a checklist as I move, all right? So then once I get control positions, I keep moving or I stop, all right? I don't just I don't keep going when I'm not sure what's gonna happen. So as I posture, then I'll start the pass. So that's the third step. The third step is the actual pass, all right? And that's whatever it's gonna be, right? There's all kinds of various ways of passing guard. We won't be talking about the passing of guard today, but we'll talk about understanding that that's where you're going with it, all right? So win the grip fight, posture, pass, right? So, and pass is the specific pass you're doing, okay? Now, the fourth part of a guard pass is to settle the weight in. And that's what I always talk to people about, the difference between passing guard and completing the pass. Once you go past someone's shins, you have passed the guard, but you have not completed the pass. It's when you settle the weight in to either a mount or a cross side, that's when you completed the pass. And that's why people are regarded. It's like they do the little victory dance as soon as they're almost out. So they're celebrating way too early. Okay, it's about establishing grips, lowering the center, and taking the space away, all right? So those are the four elements of any particular guard pass. Where we're gonna attack from is number 2. So what I do is we're gonna talk about when the person actually wins the grip fight, and they posture. So they're at step 2, and that's where we launch the attack from, all right? That's that transitional phase right there. So first thing we're talking about is a little bit about gripping though, all right? So there's a few things here. Now, when I use a closed guard, okay, the idea is this is just not a good place for him to be in, especially with a guy like me, it's not a good place for him to be in, all right? So, but what's happened is the person has postured on you. So they've gotten back here a little bit, right? So I can't get grips. Like I've lost my position here, right? So this is when it starts to become dangerous for me because now we can start putting the pressure on the ankles to break me apart. So what I need to do is I either need to transition here and move, or I need to break these grips. So just I'll give you a couple of high percentage grip breaks, all right, before we start doing attacks. So what I do here is when the person's postured like this, a very simple pass here, especially when he does this particular grip, is to put your hands on the inside, like this, all right? And then what I'm gonna do is I wanna put his hands down, but how I do that is I pop the hips up. So when I pop the hips up, it's very hard for him to actually hold that. It's very hard for him to actually do it. Because what I do is I do a hook on the inside, like this. It's like I'm reinforcing his grips. Yeah, but as soon as I pop my hips up, it just changed the angle. See, my legs never open. So once he's like that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold him to the side and I'll put my hip down quick. All right, so I go like this, and he comes forward, and he's locked in very deep now. All right, so you gotta watch this one because you don't want to smack in the head. Right? So I actually off-center my head as the guy falls, but all I'm doing is this. I just lift my hips, so I'm gonna go like this. Because this is what people do, I call this reinforcing grips. If he wants to hold me there, I hold him in. I actually now don't let him go. Keep him there, all right? So then as I do this, I'm gonna pop my hips up like this, because now what happens is this. When he pushes, he's actually now pushing on an angle. If I keep my hip on the floor, he pushes straight into me. That's all. So when I try to pull that, that's hard to do because of the angle he's pushing on. But as soon as I do this, he's now pushing that way, not straight down, all right? And that allows me to pop his grip forward really easy, all right? Now he's in, and I can readjust, all right? So that's one easy way if I want to actually fight grips. Now the second one is this. Second kind of high percentage movement, all right? So say he's grabbing my belt. Let's do that one. So he's here like this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cross grip him. Like this, all right? So feel free to move around, guys, if you can't see and stuff like that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna now lift up and put my arm underneath, like this. Doing this movement here, all right? Now, what I want to do here, because what I don't wanna do is I don't wanna open the legs, all right? So once I do this little grip here, all I'm gonna do is pull them out to the side. See, once again, it's the angle I'm at, all right? So when he's holding like this, I go under, figure 4. So I cross grip, figure 4. And he's trying to hold, he'll be pressuring here, and then all I'm gonna do is this, when he tries to hold that, I'm gonna push straight out to the side, like this. And it's very hard for him, because I'm breaking out against the little pinky, like that. And then, see, I can come around, I can do all kinds of stuff to this guy. Right? I can really crawl out of him. And it's very dangerous because you keep getting sucked into the guard, all right, deeper. And he's not changing his position. So what we'll do is non-competitively, all right? We're gonna just practice those movements, all right? So here, there's the first one, reinforce, hooks on the inside. Pop, and I push this way. And then I always use my legs, right? So what I do is when I pop up like this, as I pop, change the angle, lift the hips off the floor, break contact with the floor. But as I pull, I'm gonna pull on a 45 towards my armpits. But as I do that, I'm gonna pop down fast, all right? So here, like that, and use my legs to pull them forward. It brings them into me, all right? And then the second one, just grab onto the belt, cross grip, all right? Now, I'm gonna lift my hips. Now, when I lift my hips like this, it's the space right there. That's important, because if I don't lift my hips, I can't get space. I can't get my hand through the space. But what I do is I pop up like this, and then usually I'll drop the hip away. That's how I create space. So I'm here as I lift, like, yeah. So here like this, as I lift, drop the hip away. The hand slides in. And then all I'm doing, out to the side. Okay? Closed guard, I guess, I mean, you can spend days doing closed guard. And again, not a lot of people see the closed guard now and strategies from there and how to work from it. So when they start getting pressured, they panic and they start immediately moving into open guard. So I only unlock my guard when I have to. It means I literally had to transition. Okay? I don't just unlock for no reason, because as long as they're in my closed guard, there is no pass. There's no such thing as a pass from a closed guard. You have to open the guard first, by definition, right? So they're not passing. Okay, so, and remember, when you're when you're on the bottom in the guard, a lot of offensive techniques happen from there, but to ever kid yourself, the guard on your back is not an offensive position. It's inherently defensive. We can fight from there because we're Jiu Jitsu guys. It does not make it in and of itself an offensive position. You can't forget that, because when strikes get at it, you'll find out how defensive it actually is, especially when someone's hyper-aggressive, okay? So from here, what we're going to talk about now is basic setups from defending a cross choke. So we're not going to. I'll show you the cross choke really quick, but we're not going to practice it. It's such a basic movement, and I mean, I know some of you guys are new and things like that, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. We'll show a few other things, right? So what we're going to do is talk about the setup of a cross choke. So what happens is he's not too far up. I still have a grip, right? So come down a little bit. So it's when the guy's here like this. And I'm still, I've still got basically a 4-finger grip on the inside here, and he's not up. He's not up like this, and I'm not holding him here, all right? I have to break the person down when they do that. So I think I showed in the last camp, when you want to break someone down, okay, from here, okay, Elio Gracie used to use this method. He would hold the gi, so you would be completely postured up this way. He would do this. He would grab you really low right here. And then what he would do is take this hand and over grip. So, and then he would do this. So stay up. As soon as he's like that, and he would do this. He would just cinch up. And then as soon as he felt his back coming off the floor, he would pull you down. And then he would do this. He would move in here like this, or he would turn it. And he got the grip. So this was Elio Gracie's favorite way of breaking you down, okay? So there's ways of doing it, right? And he would never open his legs. Boom, just closed all the time, right? So you just couldn't pass. So, but what we're gonna talk about is, it's when I hear like this, and he starts to defend. So what happens is we're gonna do a transition to an armbar. It's this hand here. He knows the cross choke, okay, the palm up cross choke, I go like this. So when I execute, I always take this, I lift the elbow to the ceiling. I turn off. Now, you can unlock your legs, but if you unlock your legs, you don't get lazy. It's not a transition to an open guard. When I open, I do this. My foot comes down here and I pinch. It still feels like a closed guard. Like that, so I can angle, lift them up, slide the choke in. And then I'll lock it back in, all right? So that's if you're gonna do that. What happens is I lift the elbow, he knows it's the choke. Now you're gonna defend here. It's this hand right here. Okay, so just let it go. So he knows it's coming in this way. So, boom, he's trying to control, like this. So look here, I've got this and I've got this. So what I'm gonna do now, this hand, here, grab and reinforce. I just hold. Now all I'm gonna do is this. And he's in a complete straight arm bar. So here, I'm going for the choke. I'll do this. I always play possum. I don't care about this. I want to break his arm. But I'm going to keep pushing the arm in like this and then do this. Now when he tries to pull his arm back, he can't. It's locked. And then look, here, hook on the hip, pinch. This leg goes up. Kick him in the back of the head. All right, now, from here, you could do a transition, but I don't need to here. What I like to do is this. Hold here, pass. And there's the arm bar. Don't cross your feet. Always squeeze your knees together. Drive the heels to the floor. So one more time. So all I'm going to do is this. So just do it with this speed. With the chin. Oh, he defends. 1, 2. Okay, makes sense? Mm-hmm. So the trick there is let him straighten his arm. How I do it is always play possum. It's like finding free money, all right? Your best friend in a fight is your opponent's stupidity, all right? So what I do is try to push your arm in. They will always instinctively push it back. They'll keep their arm straight. And just go like this, go a few times, like play the game. Push, 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 push up. We got it. And now, oh, they can't retract it now. Yeah, it's out straight. And then all I need to do, foot in the hip, turn. I just angle off 90 degrees. So make sure that you're doing a nice, easy pass over the head. Squeeze the knees together. Drive the heels so far. All right. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows how to do the armbar, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So I assume there's a basic level of knowledge and things like that. So I hope it's not your first class. That'd be wild. All right. But we'll assume it's not. All right. But if you do have any questions, just let me know. Okay. So let's try that. So again, not competitively. All right. Slow it down. Let the person get the biomechanics of the movement. All right. That's how you do it. If you want to be tough, be smooth. Okay. So the biggest thing here, just before we continue, is on that armbar. Hey, look. When I'm here like this, don't do this. Don't let him bend his arm. Bend your arm. And then don't grab him here. Go like this. Try to go in for the choke. Yeah. He'll naturally straighten his arm. He's trying to stop you from coming in. So like do this. Like I actually do this, and then I go like this. And then what I do, look, I don't go here. I bring my arm all the way back up to my shoulder. Let him straighten his arm. Because then it's this. He's in. A very easy transition to get this arm, because he's completely straight. All right? So you have to let him come in. Okay? Now, we're going to talk. Now, the next transition, okay, from Judo Gatame, the straight armbar, is to Sankaku Jime, the triangle choke. So, there's 3 options this person has for how he escapes the arm. All right? So we're in the armbar. So we're here like this. Okay, but what happens is he pulls the arm out. Boom, he does that. And there we go. I call this medial range. So what does he do? He's basically kept his body horizontal to the floor, and he based his hand on the floor. All right? So now what I'm going to do here, okay, is this is the standard triangle, right? But we're going to see what happens when he goes up high and when he drops down low, all right? But we're going to do the 3 ranges. So I get this one. So this is the standard. So what ends up now happening is this. I arc my hips. You don't do this before you deal with the arm. Don't go into crooked guards before this. What I need to do is I need to pop up and get his arm across my body. I don't transition my leg until the arm is across my body. And then once he does that, look, trap. He can't move the arm back to me now. He's in. And then all I'm doing here, around. Okay? Grab the shin, okay, not here, not way up here, just above the ankle. And then foot on the hip, scoot, simple triangle. Okay? So, armbar. So he's like that, he pulls out. Okay, and what I do is I need to make sure his arm is across, right? So I do this. This is where I squeeze my knees together, drive my heels to the floor. I go like this, punch it across. And then, but don't go here and then try to transition your leg. No. What I need to do is I'm here like this, drop. It's trapped. Okay, keep it trapped. Because he will naturally try to get the arm back and then around. Okay? And then once he's done that arm is, look, I can let go. There's nothing he can do with that arm now. It's trapped. I can take this away. All right? And then I lock into an easy triangle. Okay, guys? So that's just a simple Sankaku Jime. But what we'll see is we're going to see what happens when they posture straight up. Because they always say posture, get out of the triangle. You'll see that's a mistake. And then you'll see what happens when they try to flatten a little bit. So you can't transition the leg under the head or around the head. Okay? All right. Any questions on that technique? A couple options here. Okay, so we've done the triangle. So we're back to the armbar. Boom, take my off. Okay, now, he can do 3 things. He either stays here, he goes up, he goes down, right? It's this one, man, you have to figure out what can the guy actually do, right? There's only so many ways you can break an arm, right? There's only so many ways you can choke a guy. So what happens is, I have to understand what his decision space is. What's his options? Now, what will happen here is this. Then you'll get the guys, okay, let's say, his arm's back here a little bit. It doesn't even have to be all the way back. Yeah, so he's here like this, we're kind of in neutral position. He's pulled his arm out, but what he did though is when he pulled his arm out, he decides to posture up. So posture up, and they do this. They do this movement right here because they know triangle, right? So go back down. So here's what happens. When the person starts to posture, not till it's yet. So when remember, I always make sure I keep the arm. But now, when he postures, start to posture, escape your hip out. So I drive out and I do a hook right here. Okay, and then all I'm going to do here is I've got the arm. I keep the arm, and then I'm going to pass over. He's in a complete straight arm rock. So what I do is, as I go like this, as I feel him posture, whoa, it's like this. See, I transition right away. My hip comes out. So go slow. I go like this. Look, let it pop and hook. As he keeps trying to posture up, it actually puts me right into it. Now what I do here is my legs. It's like I don't have to squeeze the choke. I'm like, oh, so it's not even a choke. But when I'm here, as he comes up, see, look, I do this. I crawl right up his arm. Okay, I have to make sure that my hips stay connected to his arm, and then look, do this way, over, boom. I've got the arm now. Simple arm lock. Okay, guys. Any questions on that? The key is to escape the hip out and turn. That's the key to it. So stay connected, so right up the arm. Make sense? This will fail if you don't escape the hip and think about hooking, okay, behind his neck. You have to take the knee that's closest to the head and you're like driving it to the chest. So you literally open it up. That's probably called something in yoga, I don't know, but open it up, all right, and hook behind the head. All right, makes sense? So what I do now, okay, like I said, I know I'm kind of blasting through them, but I just want you to see the options, all right? So the hip movement and the control is everything, okay? And I'm seeing it right now, and this is why I always find it interesting. Marcus used to use the term live hips. So when I first started with Marcus back in 1997, I remember him talking about this idea, okay, about live hips, and that's where I see a lot of problems. It's because it's a concept of movement, but it always never ceases to surprise me how limited people's hip movement actually is. Until they start doing closed guard, then you see if they really understand live hips. Because when I do, like, I'm not flexible at all. Like, I have zero flexibility, but it doesn't look like it when I roll. It's because I have live hips. I actually know how to move. It's not a flexibility thing. So I'm not fighting against my own movement when I do it. You have to loosen up enough to be able to turn and spin. It's all about angles, all right? Everything in Jiu Jitsu to me is about space, weight, angles, and leverage, all right? Always, 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 all right? So what I need to do in a case like this is all about angles. To get this is all about the angle. So now, so let's talk about so when I do this particular one, so we'll just review this one quickly. No, right down. There you go. So it's right here, okay? So what happens is I'll start feeling his upward pressure, right? So that's how I know what he's gonna do, right? I know that he's decided to go up. So when I feel that, I secure the arm. I gotta keep the arm, still the way it works, right? But now, when he goes up really slow, look what happens here. I go with him. Just go with him, don't resist, all right? So go back down. But now watch what happens to my hip. What I'm gonna do now is I need to hook this instep, my left instep, to the back of his head. But that means I gotta get that hip out, all right? I need to face that way. So as he comes up, and just keep going up, he'll naturally pull up. He's trying to get out. He's not gonna stop halfway. That's why some of you guys are stopping halfway. That's not natural. No one does that in a real fight. They're gonna go all the way up. So when he does that, look, it's very easy for me now to turn. And I get him right from there. Okay? So that time, so we've done the classic one, then when he comes up, but now what happens if he drops, right? So I'm here like this. So if they come down, and yeah, he does this, he does that, right? And he starts to hide the arm. So we know this is gonna be omoplata, right? But a little bit different, right? So watch what I do here. So as I'm going here like this, and he knows he doesn't want to give me triangle, so what I'm gonna do is this. When I spin out, lock right away and put my foot on the floor. Lock and put the foot right on the floor. Now, here's what I'm gonna do. Because what happens is, sometimes guys are really strong here, right? And you gotta be trying to be careful because they'll try to pressure in so you can't sit up. Yeah, they're very strong and they can actually hold me here. So watch what I do here. So when I lock here like this and my foot here, I keep my foot here. Now what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna turn and I go like this. Grab the clock and go like this. And then watch what I do here. So I'm gonna go here and use this foot. And I turn. I'm turning back on him like this. Now look, I'm up. I'm completely set up in the omoplata. And it's right there. What's up, the sore?
No.
Yeah. So what I have to do is, it is now. So I have to move across. So boom, he's like that. Look, I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna turn and lock. And I'm gonna put my foot on the floor. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll grab here, grab the gi. And I'm gonna look, I use my foot and I keep scooting away like this. So from that position now, I see I'm up. Now I'm in. And then I can bring the leg back and I can just continue. What I need here is the movement, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. Now the other thing that people will do is I'm here like this, is he'll come towards me. Because he's like this, he's trying to come, no, don't sit up, don't sit up. So he's like this, so he'll come towards you, so stretch your leg, no, you're sitting. They're like this, they come towards you this way, all right? Because they know you're trying to scoot away, so go back. All right, so as I go here like this, if he starts to come towards me, I grab the leg. So I can roll him over top of me, right, like this. I can go for an easy armbar here like this, or I'm gonna go here like this. I'm gonna turn and put my foot like this. And how I get the armbar from here is I grab my own leg and turn up to break it. So you know what I'm doing? I grab my own leg to do it. So there's a few different options you can do from there. What I wanna do right now though is just this basic movement, all right? So there's all kinds of things you can do. Now from here, like I said, when he drops down, I can't come across. I'm gonna spin out and lock my legs together. Grab the cloth, pull it in this way, and then I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna move away. So as I move away, allows me to sit up, all right? So sore arm, so I don't wanna go too hard here. You're just gonna pull this arm back like that, all right? Okay, guys. Okay, has anyone not done the omoplata before? Okay, perfect. I'm gonna bring this leg back, like this. See, I don't have to hold on to it, he's trapped. And now to get the actual arm lock, you can put your arm in. To get this actual arm lock, I always get the idea of putting my knee to the floor and move on a diagonal. So I go like this. I just go here. It's nice to be young, eh? My arm would be totally broken right now. So what I'm trying to do, no, go back, is I'm here like this. Boom, that leg comes back. To actually do the arm lock, put the knee to the floor. The mistake people make is they lift up. No. Rotate the knee down to the floor. I'm not thinking about lifting my butt. I'm trying to put the knee to the floor on a diagonal. So I go like this. Puts a tremendous amount of torque into the shoulder, all right? So that's how you actually finish the omoplata, all right? But what you need to do right now is get the idea of locking it. The reason why we do that lock is because, like I said again, some guys, they're hyper-aggressive when they're fighting. So once they feel you come over to the omoplata, they viciously come back up. Well, now I've got a lock on the arm, so I can start transitioning to a regular triangle. I'm gonna go back to triangle choke. That's where the sequence goes, okay? So for now, when you come over, you're gonna lock, boom, put the foot on the floor, and then I grab and go like this. Just move away to pop them down into a hole. Then, come forward, okay? So that's biomechanically what I'm doing. Right. You know, there's so many things you can do from there. Just remember that, you know, really the big three attacks, without getting into sweeps, all right? Like, you know, like Kimura sweeps and all that kind of stuff. Kind of gatame. So without getting into all that stuff, the sweep thing is different. You can transition submissions to sweeps and sweeps to other sweeps and things like that. So it's endless amount of things that you can do from there. This was just really a concentration on the on specific kind of high percentage attacks from the guard, right? From the closed guard, right? Because we've done lots of open stuff now and things like that. So you got to see the full game though, all right? The biggest thing what I do is I'm using the closed guard because I'm trying to impede the person's ability to pass my guard. If they can't pass my guard, they don't even start an attack. I'm not in trouble ever because they're literally trying to fight out of my guard. Well, they're not submitting me when they're fighting out of my guard. They're trying to get out of the guard. All right, so that's how you start shutting someone down, and you'll see they'll mentally get distracted like that because they're off their game now. They're just so used to being like just passing, and they, you know, they do their little open guard game thing, and then they just get passed. But when you see them stuck in a closed guard, you'll watch them. They'll go through all their high percentage stuff in the first like minute, and then you'll watch them get frustrated because they just don't know how to get out. Okay, so it's very, very important to understand that. So, and be prepared if you have to fight somebody like that. Because the first time you're caught in it, it is so demoralizing because nothing you do works, all right? There's a counter to everything that you can do. And some of the guys are really, really good at doing it. So you have to be careful there, okay? And be in a fight or a real fight or a match, it's not the first time you should see it, okay? So you practice it, all right? Okay, any questions on the any of the basic techniques I showed you there? We're looking at, you know, high percentage choke. Like I'm using a cross choke as kind of the first big high percentage attacks you do from the closed guard. But then we transition to arm locks, triangles, and omoplatas. That's like the big three, all right? When you start going past chokes and stuff like that, that's kind of like your big things you have to worry about in the closed guard. Anything at all?
Thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, ideas, concerns, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'd love to hear from you all. Anyways, take care, train hard, and I'll see you all in the next video.